All right, so if you're seeing this video, I have a brand new editing laptop that allows me to edit videos while I'm on the go. If you're not seeing this, then I'm still SOL. But I want to talk about something that I've been wanting to talk about since last month, and that is who is truly responsible for the downfall of the HEMI engine? Who sold out the brand? Who perhaps made the final decision to get rid of the HEMI engine and perhaps not even upgrade the HEMI engines? Because what if I told you that my frenemy, Tim Kuniskis, actually revealed last month exactly who it was that told him that he could not buy any emissions credits. And so after this crappy intro, we're going to get exactly into who it was that perhaps made one of the dumbest decisions that you could ever imagine, having such a great platform to turn it to dust within 3 years.
And it's really important that we need to talk about the 23 model year Chargers and Challengers will be the last of the HEMI powered L cars that we build. And when that window closes, there's no reopening it.
But is that what Tim Kuniskis is telling us, or is that what someone else is telling us? Because I'm pretty sure if Tim Kuniskis had his way, he would keep some HEMI powered cars going longer, because there's a little thing called emissions credits. And he has used these particular credits in the past in order to keep these HEMI powered cars going longer. But the question still remains, if these guys know, especially Tim Kuniskis and Dodge knows, that there is toughening emission standards coming over the next several years, why not in the past, let's say 2019, why not make a new version of the HEMI, or just make a new V8 engine, period, move to the next generation? And I'm going to tell you guys later on in this video that maybe it was not Dodge's fault, maybe it was not the government's fault that Dodge did not move towards a new HEMI or a new V8 engine. That maybe they had some European influences that had already canceled a new V8 engine that was already coming. We'll get to that one in a second. But I want to show you guys this article right here on Car Scoops, not Motor Trend, because apparently Motor Trend gets in their feels whenever you actually try to, use some of their information as a source. So don't use Motor Trend in your videos, or they might try to do like a demonetization campaign against your channel. But let's look at Car Scoops, who doesn't do stuff like that. And here we go with this article from them, and they're saying that Stellantis says no thanks to regulatory emissions credits. The boss of Ram and Dodge says not buying regulatory credits has forced the firm to make efficiency improvements. And basically, that's why you have the issue with the HEMI engines not coming. Now, if we go further down in the article, oh look, there goes Racer X right there. Hey, Racer X. While many of its competitors are forced to buy regulatory emission credits from Tesla and others, Stellantis says it is not spending a cent on credits, not something that can be said about its past as Fiat Chrysler automobiles. Apparently, every other company has made it work to where they buy emissions credits and they can still bring out vehicles that people want. Now, if you've seen other past not vehicles, but videos, then you see there's no really any Mustangs that's on the worst selling list in America right now. There's no Corvettes on that worst selling list right now. But what you will see in the other video that I did, that 3 of the top 4 worst selling cars in America are the Dodge Hornet, the Dodge Challenger, and the Dodge Charger. And I wonder why that is. I mean, you can't really piss off your fan base who actually buy these vehicles and think that they're going to basically be loyal customers. They're going to stick to the brand through the end, because we do not believe that the government made you guys get rid of HEMI engines. We're going to see right here that we know exactly who got rid of HEMI engines. If you guys wondering why I'm keep looking up in the corner, because I got a monitor right here to see if I'm actually pushing the buttons. And for right now, trying to get muscle memory to actually push the button to make sure you guys actually seeing what I'm seeing. Now, while recently speaking at the media conference in San Francisco, California, Ram and Dodge boss, my frenemy Tim Kuniskis, said that Stellantis chief executive Carlos Tavares isn't allowing the firm to ever buy a single credit, and said that this has forced the brand to innovate to ensure it complies with emissions regulations. This is particularly evident with the Ram 1500. According to Kuniskis, if Stellantis were still buying regulatory credits, it probably still would be selling the 1500 with a HEMI V8 engine. Now, I honestly do not care how efficient the Hurricane engines are. If your customers are buying HEMI engines by the masses, you don't go and delete everything and go cold turkey within 1 year. Usually there is a transition period where you offer an alternative and then see if people start to warm up to the alternative, and then you drop your HEMI engines. This cold turkey approach has made Dodge the worst selling brand in America. And there's no question why that is. For one, they jacked up prices, because we all know that Stellantis jacked up prices around 50% over the last few years, ever since Stellantis came into existence. A Ram TRX right now costs $125,000 MSRP, when back in 2021, $125,000 was a hefty markup, because a lot of the TRXs cost around 90 to 95K. And there's a lot of people who spent, 30, 40K over sticker to buy them a launch edition TRX around the 120, 30K range. So now it's kind of crazy. Within 3 to 4 model years, a Ram TRX costs what markup was for a 2021 truck. But that was just Stellantis' price increase, that they kept sneaking in little price increases over and over and over again. And it was not to buy or to pay for emissions issues. It was to pay for all this electric nonsense that they invested billions of dollars in. And I'm not gonna put words in Tim Kuniskis' mouth, but I will say that I'm pretty sure that he wouldn't have his bosses invest billions of dollars into a platform that no one wants. If you're supposed to be the brand that you'd only want maybe 5% of the public to like, you don't go and try to go and change the brand into 95% of what green hugging idiots want you to do. They want you to go EVs. They want you to make this crap. They want you to go broke, which is going to happen, and which is already happening. Let's look at this video here. If you watch this video that I did where I compared all these, let me go ahead and swap over, because as I said, I got to look over to my left to see whether or not I'm actually pushing the button. But if you look at this old video that I did about Tesla is going to dominate the Charger Daytona Scat Pack, you can look right here at these numbers, that the Tesla Model S, the non-plat version, it is going to kill a Scat Pack when they finally hit the streets, especially next year, like basically 2025 model year, because Dodge is going to detune that vehicle down to about 590 horsepower, because in the press release it said they're going to remove the stage kits that took the power up to 670 horsepower. And the stage kits are nothing but crystals that you just basically put on the dash, or basically like a little barcode you input on your computer, and hey, you got more horsepower. But you can see right here, the Tesla Model S, the non-plat version at 75K, it dominates the Charger Daytona Scat Pack in literally every single category. The only thing that I don't think it beats it in, the only thing it don't beat it in is the top speed. The Charger Daytona has a whopping 4 mile per hour advantage over the Tesla Model S non-plat version at 130 to 134 miles per hour. But the Tesla Model 3 over in that far right corner, it is going to destroy a Scat Pack next year, because there's supposed to be a Tesla Model 3 ludicrous version that's supposed to get up to about 600 horsepower, and it's going to destroy a Scat Pack. So I'm going like, why in the world are we getting pushed into this EV future if it can't even beat the middle of the pack of Tesla vehicles? At 5,800 something pounds, the Scat Pack is already heavy. Then you got to basically add there go TK. But then you got to basically add another about maybe 200 horsepower, not 200 horsepower, but 200 pounds. And that's probably how much money, no, I'm messing up with TK messaged me, but if you add about another 200 pounds, they get about 6,000 pounds for the Banshee, it's going to get destroyed by the Tesla Model S Plaid. If it has about the same horsepower, it's going to get destroyed. There's nothing Dodge can do that's gonna beat the Banshee. So I hope that next year they do something with that Banshee that's gonna actually make it compete against Tesla, because the Scat Pack already can't. This is our European overlord who's like so dead set on EVs that he is going to basically miss the whole US market. Freaking Stellantis doing so bad here in the US that they have laid off so many people that they can't afford them because they know that these cars are not going to sell. So the only other thing they can do, especially after spending billions of dollars, especially to Canada and all these other places like LG, these guys make battery packs, the only thing they can do is just lay off people. So here he goes right here. Let me see if I can play this real quick.
We are here to offer that and to serve. So I'm quite positive about the market. I think people will continue to protect their freedom of mobility. And for that, there is no other better device than an automobile.
Freedom of mobility. Oh God, I'm like, come on, Mike Manley. I can't believe you let this guy buy you out. And this dude is going on and on about freedom of mobility. Oh, well, I mean, he's basically learning right now that, you know, Dodge customers, their freedom of mobility is the freedom of not buying electrified Dodge vehicles, especially the Hornet, because the Hornet is our first example of European muscle, and people aren't buying it. But this guy right here, I'm pretty sure he is the man who canceled the future Hemi and V8 plans, because if you guys seem to remember back in 2019, there was rumors of a brand new Hemi V8 engine coming. Now, if you guys remember this one, let me just hit the button. Like I said, I gotta keep looking to my left to make sure I hit the button. You guys remember this 7-liter Hemi V8 Banshee engine reportedly canceled? I mean, if you look at the date on this, this is November 22nd of 2019. Now, if you wonder going like, well, you know, Stellantis wasn't formed until like, what, 2021, right? But if you go look at this tab right here, this is when, let's see, PSA and FCA agreed to merge in December 18th of 2019. How much do you want to bet that while they was chatting about merging together, this guy right here, Carlos Tavares, he basically like, hey, Manley, you know what? We're going to basically, you know, we're not paying for any emissions credits. We're going to just basically scrap all your V8 engine plans, and we're going to just basically come out with, you know, cheaper alternatives and electrified vehicles, blah, blah, blah. Mike Manley going like, yeah, okay, cool. Well, you know what? We can do that. And then, you know, while you do that crap, before things get real hot, I'm going to dip out and go to AutoNation within 2 years of this nonsense happening, right? Mike Manley, he basically dipped out and went to AutoNation. America's largest and most admired automotive retailer, that remains to be seen, has announced that it appointed Mike Manley as chief executive officer and as a member of the board of directors effective November 1st, 2021. So literally 2 years after he shook this dude's hand and basically sold FCA. It's not a merger. It's not a merger when the other company deletes your name. That's not a merger. He basically allowed PSA to come buy him out, and then he went and jumped ship less than 2 years later. Basically 22 months later, he jumped ship. And so here you go right here, the beginning and the end for literally FCA, Dodge, and the Hemi V8 engine. These guys right here. So it's not really that this was Tim Kuniskis that did this. He was not the CEO of FCA. He was not the CEO of Chrysler. He just the guy underneath the CEO who has to take orders from these numbskulls who, on one side, thinks that he's gonna bring European influence to America and it's gonna succeed. And then you got the guy on the right going like, well, okay, yeah, I'll go, you know, sell the company. I'll take my daggone bonus, and then I go jump to one of the largest automotive dealership groups in the country, and you know they sell other brands other than Dodge. So I'm good. Dodge was already in a pickle anyway because they had way too many V8 engines. They should have been like Ford, who literally has one V8 engine for two vehicles. They had one V8, one in the GT, then do some tuning, and bring that up to 500 horsepower, and they put that one in the dark horse. And then Ford smartly, in their minds, they really don't need to even come out with a higher performance version of the GT and the dark horse, because they have, in the background right now, you can go, let's see right here. You can go right here, and for $10,000, you can upgrade your Mustang GT and your dark horse with a supercharger to bring it up to around 800 horsepower. So here you go right here. You can take Ford Performance is pleased to announce our supercharger kit for the 2024 5-liter Mustang GT and dark horse. Developed by Whipple Superchargers in partnership with Ford Performance Engineering, this kit delivers on performance. The Ford Performance package delivers 810 horsepower and 615 foot-pounds of torque at 4,800 RPM for active exhaust-equipped Mustangs, 10 horsepower less for non-active exhaust Mustangs. So you literally have red-eye killers in a Mustang GT and a Mustang dark horse. And then you have literally Tim Kuniskis having to basically trot out here and tell us that, this electrified future is exactly what he wants for the brand. I just don't believe it. And I know, I know this is not something that he truly believes in. Like I said, I'm not gonna put words in his mouth, but with a brand like Dodge, who prides himself and only being liked by the 1 to 5% of the public, going electrified is definitely something that no one really believes that they want to. And no one's going to believe that the government calls them to only go with Hemi, not go with Hemis, but get rid of Hemi engines for an electrified future with Hurricanes, which I don't trust Hurricanes, because as I said in previous videos, it's very mysterious that these engines were supposed to be at roadkill nights last year, and mysteriously they got pulled at the last minute. And then next thing you know, since Hurricane's been in the Grand Wagoneer for over a year or two now, they can go in soccer mom Jeeps, but they can't go in Dodge cars mysteriously for a whole nother year, right? They get pulled from roadkill nights. They're probably not gonna be roadkill nights this year again, and you're not gonna be able to find it next year until sometime. They just said next year, but is it gonna be like later next year, like maybe sometime at the summertime? So you had last year, not come out this year, and we're probably gonna wait till next year to get it. So basically, for some reason, there is a 3-year delay on the replacement 6-pack Hurricane engine. But apparently, it's good to go in truck applications, right? You can get it in the Grand Wagoneer, truck application. You get in the Ram trucks, truck application. But for some reason, the car application, there's something wrong. And I'm just saying, because why are we not getting Chargers that have Hurricanes in them this year? The future is not looking bright. And if it was me and I was FCA, I'd be like, hey, we need to take a 5.7 Hemi and, just tear it down, rebuild it, and basically make that one engine that we put in all these cars and all these trucks and the SUVs. Because if Ford can get about 500 horsepower out of a 5-liter and then throw a supercharger on it and get 810 horsepower, there's no way in the world you can tell me that the geniuses at Dodge can't take a 5.7, build it up, make it pass emissions, and then throw a supercharger on it to maybe make 850, 900 horsepower. You tell me Dodge, who has basically dominated the field since 2015, can't make a 5.7, a brand new one, and throw a supercharger from direct connection in there for 900 horsepower? You tell me Dodge not that smart now all of a sudden? I mean, maybe it's because so many people got laid off over the past couple of years that they don't have the same engineers anymore. But it just freaking weird. But let me know what you guys think. Is it really Tim Kuniskis' fault that the Hemi engines are no more, or is it this nonsense from this European overlord Carlos Tavares, who's kind of missing the boat on keep talking this nonsense about freedom of mobility. Oh God, every time I hear that guy talk, he's always saying freedom of mobility. Customers want freedom of mobility. No, we want the freedom to have the engine that we want to have. That's why we buy Dodge products in the first place, because they have an engine that no one else has. And now you have taken it away from Americans and now we don't want this other nonsense, which is why you don't see the Mustang as one of the worst selling vehicles in America. You don't see the Corvette as one of the worst selling vehicles in America. And I'm going to have to suspect that these Ram trucks next year, they're not going to sell that well. Because who wants a vacuum cleaner sounding Ram truck when you can still get a V8 in a Chevy truck, a V8 in a Ford truck? And then now Ford has this 5-liter supercharger. You can basically get you a Ford F-150 Limited that has that 500 horsepower engine in there, throw a supercharger on it, and you can probably get 800 horsepower, basically have you like a street TRX out of a Ford F-150. But I'm just saying, but let me know what you guys think. Until the next time, I'm out.
Today, we shocked the entire system and we outplayed the game. Some of you were pissed. Some of you think we sold out. But as you accurately pointed out to me through social media, despite the change in consumer demand, muscle cars have still maintained a very significant and lasting place in this industry. Muscle cars are literally the last holdouts, and Dodge has defined that lane. So everything's good, right? Why are we talking about going digital? You can and you will call BS on my prediction, and you would be right to call that into question. But what's impossible to ignore is the manufacturer's product pipeline. One look at the product plans, and it's clear that the auto industry is in a space race. Not towards the moon or Mars, no, towards electrification. A space race? Really, Tim? Kind of ridiculous. Is it?